back to part 2 of What If Female Naruto was the Shrine Maiden. And I'm sorry if you hear any background noise. Anyways, so we'd start off with the meeting ending and Hiruzen going to the hospital where female Naruto is being taken care of. Now, she still doesn't have a name, and so I named her. When he visits there, he looks at sleeping female Naruto and just thinks on what he should name her, because there is nobody to name her as her parents are obviously gone. After a bit of thinking, he names her Miso Uzumaki. He turns to the caretaker of Miso and says, the child's name from now on is Miso Uzumaki. And the caretaker would nod at it, saying, yes, Hokage-sama. And with that, we skip a few months. Now, Danzo had go ahead and built the shrine right next to the Uchiha compound, because if she got out of control or something were to happen, their strongest clan would be able to stop the attack. Well, try and stop it, while the others evacuate and stuff. So now we see the caretaker, whose name is, I don't have a name for her, I'll probably forget, but the caretaker is moving. The caretaker's packing up stuff to take care of the child, because she's going to be moving in to the shrine, as well as a few other people to be the shrine maidens and basically take care of Miso until she becomes the head shrine maiden. Now, we see Hiruzen. He's checking over the papers, and he sees that the person who's mainly going to take care of Miso has nobody. And he ponders if it's the right thing to do, but sees that she has a good reputation, even if all her family was killed to the Kyuubi. Now, this is what she looks like. And yeah, she's walking out of the hospital with Miso in her hands, and there's a few Anbu guards following them out of sight to protect them, and basically to protect them, yeah. And when they make it to the shrine, the Anbu, which includes Kid Kakashi, I forgot to say, they would not follow them into the shrine and would be posted outside of the shrine. Little insight on the caretaker of Miso and the shrine maidens is that the caretaker of Miso, she doesn't like the Kyuubi. She hates the Kyuubi because the Kyuubi was the one that took her family away from her, but not her clan. She still has her clan members. And most of the people that work in the shrine are basically the same as the caretaker. And And when they found out about the shrine, they were happy because they finally had some place to have closure about it and were honored to work there. But they also figured out that once they started working there, about rumors that the child the child that they were taking care of was the QB, was the demon fox. And they couldn't be blamed for believing it, because as Miso matured over the years, they saw a little ears from her head. It wasn't normal, regular human ears. No, they were fox ears that were sloped down most of the time. Now, because of this, they would start, the child that they once thought was cute turned into the demon to them. They started to pretty much neglect her and only talk to her when they needed to train them or needed to take care of her. But other than that, they didn't really care for her that much. Well, but some of them, they still kind of cared, but not very much. And once they got the orders from the Hokage to not let the child outside of the shrine, they were happy because the village was safe from the demon child, and that they could always keep an eye on her so that she doesn't do anything bad. And if she did, she would get rightly punished for it. And as they started to teach the child, they were pretty harsh. They were really harsh on her, and they made sure that she read as much as she could and got a little tiny breaks and basically did shrine stuff, as well as clean the shrine, make sure the shrine is clean of any dust, etc. They would of course do it as well, since they are shrine maidens. Because those shrine maidens and the caretaker were the closest thing she had to a family, she thought that neglection and tough love, or being harsh on others, was love. Like, she had no other teacher to teach her that it's not actual love, but that's a kind of hatrism. But since she had nobody, she didn't know. She thought it was love, genuine love. And because of that, she dealt with it with a happy face, which made the shrine maidens frown at her. And seeing the shrine maidens frown at her happy face, she thought that frowning was something to be happy about. But little did she know. But one day, she saw a couple of people walk into the shrine. They were somebody that she never really met. She knew basically everybody that came here regularly, but she'd never seen any of the people that just walked in. There was a tall man. He had purple hair, and from the purple hair, she could tell that it was a Hyuga member. She wondered what a Hyuga was doing, as she didn't really see many Hyuga members coming to the shrine. But at the same time, she saw a couple Hyuga members, but they never came at the time that these group of Hyugas arrived. She was confused. And then she saw them. There were two kids by his side. One was in front of the other. It seemed like the one behind was a little shy or scared. And the one that was covering the other looked like he was a bit intimidating. And then she saw them. She saw the girl. She'd come out of hiding once they entered. She wondered what this was all about, what was happening. She had no idea. Then she'd see a shrine maiden walk over to them, bow, and speak with the man. She couldn't really hear what they were talking about, but she eyed the two children as she never saw any kids her age enter the shrine. She'd never seen babies, she'd never seen toddlers, just herself in the shrine, just adults coming in and out, sometimes even teens. So having little kids come in, that was a nice change to her. Point of view of the man with the purple hair, aka the Hyuga, one of the Hyuga clan heads, which was the father of Hinata Hyuga. After the maiden came and bowed, the maiden spoke. Mr. I forgot his name, but she'd say, "I'd see, it's time." He'd nod. "Yes, it is. I leave my daughter in your care, but I brought along the one who is her bodyguard. He's going to accompany her in visiting the child." The shrine maiden nodded. "I see. Then, are you going to leave now?" Then he'd nod. "Yes, I was just about to." Then he looked at his children, looked at Hinata and said, "Hinata, don't be afraid to talk with the child and don't get too bored." And then he'd leave. Hinata would just watch him leave with Neji by her side. She'd then look over at who she's going to talk to, which was Miso. To her, Miso looked beautiful, more beautiful than anybody she's ever seen, as Miso's hair was beautiful pink color, and with that tied in by the purple eyes, that was a very beautiful sight to her. But her staring at Miso kind of was off to Miso, as she'd never really seen anybody stare at her for that long, like that. She was confused. And then Miso would see the two children walk to her. She'd speak, "Hello." And Hinata, the girl, would say, "Hi, I'm Hinata Hyuga. This is Neji Hyuga, my companion. And Neji would nod and say, "You." Miso would say, I'm Miso Uzumaki. Nice to meet you, Hinata Hyuga and Neji Hyuga. Neji was about to speak up, as he was taught to always have others treat Hinata with respect. But Hinata spoke. "Please, don't call us like that. Just call us Hinata and Neji." And Neji would speak, "Are you sure?" And Hinata would nod. Nodding, Miso said, "Okay." And they'd have a little chit-chat. But then, a few minutes later, a shrine maiden would come, saying, "Miso, it's time." Miso would look up, nod, and get up. "I'm sorry, I have to go now. It was nice chatting with you." She'd smile. Hinata would say, "Likewise. When we'll be able to speak again?" Miso responded with, "In a bit. I just hope you guys don't get bored." She'd chuckle. Hinata would nod, and then Miso would start walking away. Neji would speak up. "Hinata-senpai. No. Hinata-sama? Hinata-chan? I'm so sorry. I have a loss of words right now." Then Neji would speak up. "Hinata-sama, don't you think that was a bit off?" Hinata would look at Neji, say, with a confused expression, saying, "Huh?" Neji would say, the woman, I don't know, she felt off." Hinata would sigh. "Neji, don't be like that," as Hinata's good nature didn't really let Neji's bad thoughts slide. And then another shrine maiden would come up to them, saying, "Since Miso is attending to her education, how about you to have something to eat or drink? What do you guys want to do?" And Neji would look at Hinata, waiting for her to respond. Hinata would think, "How about tea?" And the shrine maiden would nod. And now we time skip a few more years. Right now, they're all 7 years old. But what happened throughout these years is that their friendship only grew stronger as they grew older. Hinata really loved to play with Miso's hair and etc., as she really loved how silky her hair was. And Miso didn't really mind. as Miso got to braid and play with Neji's hair as it was long as well. And since Hinata was playing with her hair, she couldn't play with Hinata's. And their friendship grew stronger, with especially Hinata and Miso. And as their friendship grew stronger, Miso started to realize some things with her caretakers and the shrine maidens. I'll just tell you guys in a flashback. Flashback to when they were 6. It was kind of a cloudy day as they were all inside the shrine, one of the shrine rooms, talking. And Miso would then ask, Hinata, Neji, I have a question. They both look at her, waiting for her question. What is it? Hinata said. Well, I don't see how you guys treat me and how the shrine maidens treat me are very different. You guys have very different methods of showing love. So I wanted to know which is like the better treatment of love, as it got me thinking. Hinata and Neji would be confused. And Neji would think, the shrine maidens treat her with different love? What is that supposed to mean? In Hyuga, being innocent, she didn't really think the worst at first. And she'd say, alright, what is it? And Miso would start off saying, well, the shrine maidens, they don't really smile at me whenever I do something that is good. But you guys, whenever I do something good, you guys smile at me, but they don't. And the shrine maidens, they tell me to do better, to not. They tell me to do better than I can and tell me all sorts of things. And another thing is that they call me names, and at this point, at this point, Neji already gets that they don't treat her well, while Hinata kind of gets it, as she has similar treatment back at home with her training and such, as her training would consist of meditation, and if she didn't do good enough, or if she got distracted, her trainer and her father would tell her to do better. And while Neji, I already explained Neji. And Neji would ask, what do they call you? Like, what names are you talking about? And Miso would say, well, they call me Demon Fox, Wretched Child, Useless. Those are the main names they call me, and Useless is the most prominent one. And Neji would give her a sympathetic look while Hinata would be wide-eyed saying, why would they call you such names? That's not very good at all. And Misa would look at her saying, really? I didn't think so. And Hinata would jump up saying, of course it is. That is not good treatment. Why don't you speak up? You should totally speak up. Why didn't you say anything sooner? How long has this been going on? And Misa would cut her off saying, whoa. Calm down, Hinata. What's got you so worked up? It's just names. And Hinata would say, yes, it's just names, but that still doesn't give them the right to call you those names. Do you even know? And before she could speak another word, Neji would cut her off, saying, Hinata-sama, please calm down. And Hinata would sigh, saying, fine, and sit back down. Neji would then look at Miso and say, Miso, can you further explain? And Miso would nod, explaining how the shrine maidens would from time to time hit her with a ruler on her hand if she misread something or if she didn't perform good enough, and if when she was doing her dances and she kind of forgot a pose or her balance wasn't correct, they'd hit her with the ruler to make her have the good balance. And as they heard this, Hinata got very angry while Neji kind of frowned and was saddened to hear one of his good friends be treated like this. But then Misa would say, and they never let me go outside of the shrine. I don't know why. I've been in this shrine for as long as I can remember, and I've never left here. I can't even take 2 steps outside of the shrine, and I don't know why. And Hinata would say, you've never gone outside of the shrine? Misa would nod. And Neji would then speak, all right, that is not okay. You shouldn't be forced to stay here. Do you even want to stay here? And Miso would shake her head. I want to go out someday, but I can't. And the two Hyugas would sigh. After that day, the two would frequently get her stuff to eat from outside of the shrine and get books that had drawings of the pictures, and they would make drawings themselves and give to Miso, which she greatly appreciated and thanked them every time with great joy. And for Miso, on Miso's part, she'd find out that all her life, up until that point, she'd been lied to. She wasn't even seen as a human, which didn't sit right with her. She was confused on why they would do this. But the confusion didn't last long, because after that day, she did some research on the books they had in the shrine, and she found some books about the Kyuubi attack, and she matched it with her birthday, and she'd figure that she had something to do with the Kyuubi. She just didn't know what, which got her frustrated. But at the same time, she didn't really blame them, but she was still angry and saddened. She was still saddened by the fact that they would do this to her, but she didn't mind it, as long as she had Hinata and Hyuga by her side. And now, that is the end of the flashback. We'd see Hyuga. No, not Hyuga. We'd see Hinata and Neji coming into the shrine once more. And they had Miso's favorite food, two favorite foods actually, which was ramen and fried tofu. She absolutely loved those two things, as they were the first things that Hinata and Neji brought her to eat from outside of the shrine. As from the inside of the shrine, she really only had rice and beef to eat with the rice. But anyways, they come into the shrine with those, and Miso would immediately run over to them with giving them a hug and thanking, and they would give the food to Miso. Miso would take the food, thanking them, and they'd go into Miso's room to talk. And that is when Neji spoke, saying, Miso, we kind of have bad news for you, he'd say. Miso would tilt her head, saying, huh? What's wrong? With a confused voice, and Hinata would look at Neji again. Hinata would look at Neji, saying, also confused, saying, Neji, what's wrong? And Neji would say, we have to start to go to the academy when we both turn 8 years old. And Miso would still be tilting her head, confused, as she'd never heard of any academy. And Hinata would say, oh, yeah, that's kind of a bummer. And Miso would say, am I the only one that doesn't know what's going on here? And Hinata would giggle a little and say, no, it's just that we have to start going to school we have to start going to the academy so we can learn to be shinobis of the village. And Miso would say, shinobi? Oh, that's right. You guys are like ninjas, right? Like you do missions and protect the village. And they'd both nod. That's kind of great, isn't it? She'd say. And Hinata would scratch the back of her head, saying, well, see, I'm not very good at anything of being a shinobi, so actually of being a konoichi, so I don't think I'm gonna be a good one. And Miso would shake her head vigorously, saying, no, you're gonna be a great shinobi, or konoichi. Thank you, Miso. That really means a lot. And Miso would nod, saying, But then Miso would tilt her. But then Miso would ask again, but I don't see what's so wrong with going to this academy. And that is when Neji breaks the news. Well, if we're going to train to be shinobis, then we have to take our training to the next level, meaning we most likely will not have any time to visit you anymore, and that's not good. And Miso would be like, oh, I see. Well, then you're not gonna start until next year, like, right? Like until you guys become 8 years old, right? And Neji would nod, and and Miso would sigh in relief, saying, "Phew. Then that means we still have enough time to make this year the best year of our lives." So, and Hinata would join in saying, "Yeah, we don't start until next year, so let's make this year the best year of our of us visiting Miso." And Neji would cheer up, saying, "Yeah, let's make this the best year." And with that, I am going to be leaving off the episode. The episode was kind of long, and I'm so sorry about that. And I'm sorry if this episode wasn't as good as last episode, as I'm not very good at making childhoods. So, yeah. But anyways, if you stuck around for this long, then I thank you for watching my video, and see you guys in the next part. Bye-bye!